right, so yeah, I think we're ready to start. Thanks, Ann, for kicking us a little bit. Okay, so, yeah, we're at about, what, 6:03. All right. I call to order the February 12th, 2026 meeting of the Town of Berthoud Planning Commission. It's the tradition of the Planning Commission to start our meetings with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioners and staff. All right, at this time, Ms. Manzo, will you please call the roll of the Berthoud Planning Commission?
Commissioner Sigmund?
Here.
Commissioner Filio?
Here.
Commissioner Hoffmans? Absent. Commissioner Semidalis?
Here.
Commissioner Pond?
Here.
Vice Chair Smith?
Here.
Chair Anderson?
Here, thank you. All right, so hopefully you've all taken a look at the minutes that were sent to us in our packet. I think we just had one in the packet, right? I'm trying to remember now, because I printed it and I forgot to bring this with me. Okay, so if there's no changes, anybody have changes or questions about the January 8th minutes? Okay, so then with that, I would entertain a motion to approve.
Move approval.
So Commissioner Sigmund moves to approve. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Bryce, I can never say your last name. But Commissioner Bryce moves to second. I apologize. So all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. All right, so we're beyond the minutes. That's great. We don't have any land use hearings this evening, but we have 3 information updates. The first one on the inclusion of the water conservation element to the comprehensive plan. The second one is and this is, I don't think this is an action item, it's just, again, informational, is the 2021 comprehensive plan progress and review. And then the third is the action plan, or the progress basically on the action plan and the implementation of the action plan for the 2025 housing diversity plan. So with that, I know we want to start with a presentation about the water, the water conservation element.
Right, and if I may, Madam Chair,
Sure.
members of the Planning Commission, Lakin Dixon is an intern with the Planning Department and the Community Development Department. And Lakin was tasked early last year with, she's gonna go through the requirements to develop the element for water conservation in our comprehensive plan. And she's gonna go over the who, what, when, where, why. However, I do want to let you know that because we have Lakin on board, normally if we would have to hire a consultant to do this work, it would be a $50,000 to $70,000 project. So by having the appropriate staff and the staffing available to dedicate to this, sorry, Lakin, I know you're an intern, that we were able to save quite a bit of money and time and be able to have something that is unique just to Berthoud. So we are very thankful to have Lakin here for cost savings as well as efficiency. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it on over to Lakin.
Lakin is an intern from where?
She is a graduate student at the University of Denver, or University of Colorado at Denver. And is it the same program that you did, Ton? Or
different program. Okay, hi everybody. As Ann said, my name's Lakin, and this will just be an introduction to the water supply element. This is required by Colorado revised statutes to be included in comprehensive plans and updated on no less than a 5-year basis. Requiring this element in plans ensures that water issues are prioritized and integrated into the community's vision and policies to better protect, develop, use, and manage natural resources effectively. When developing a water supply element in local or regional comprehensive plans, Colorado revised statutes require that the community must consult and coordinate with local water providers include water conservation policies, and then estimate a range of water supplies and facilities needed to support the potential public and private development described in the comprehensive plan. So to develop this element, we first looked at what water conservation policies other communities have in their plans to gain inspiration. City of Evans was a great resource for this. We pulled from existing water resources that the town has, such as the 2023 Water and Wastewater Master Plan, the 2024 Water Efficiency Plan, and the 2020 Growing Water Smart Workshop, as well as other existing town plans such as the 2021 Comprehensive Plan and the 2021 Open Space Plan. These resources helped identify the water conservation principles, goals, and strategies to be provided in this document. These goals and strategies have been placed into 3 different categories: measurement and management, sustainable and efficient operations, and integrating water and land use. As mentioned, all of these align or were pulled from existing plans within the town and focus on water conservation. We also coordinated and collaborated back and forth with the town's water team. They were extremely helpful in providing feedback and answers on technical questions. Little Thompson Water District, who reviewed this document and confirmed that the plan aligns with state priorities and current water planning activities in the area. And then Scott Williamson, he's the Water and Land Use Planner for the State of Colorado Department of Local Affairs. He has reviewed and provided input on multiple occasions, and he will ultimately be the final approver of this document. In addition to the water conservation policies, goals, and strategies, this document describes the town's population growth, current water supplies and future needs, and projected water demands. This data is especially useful for continuing to integrate water with land use. And the last section of the water supply element describes specific principles for water and land use planning pulled from the town's 2024 Water Efficiency Plan to ensure water conservation is being prioritized within land use planning. This is the final version of the water supply element, and it must be submitted to the Department of Local Affairs by December 31st, 2026, and adopted as an addenda into the comprehensive plan. That's it.
And I do want to say Lakin spent a lot of time going back and forth with DOLA. She spent a lot of time working with our water operations team. She reached out to Little Thompson Water District and got their input. She also reached out to Northern Colorado Water Conservancy District. I know she said these things. However, I just wanted to reiterate the amount of coordination and the exhausting coordination that this took, and the back and forth with operations just to make sure, because a lot of the policies that will be in our comprehensive plan are something that the community development department will not be implementing. There are things that our operations team will be implementing. So Lakin wanted to make sure that the goals and policies are something that they can implement, and that's not just something that she's creating in isolation. So she did a really good job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's great. Megan. I'm curious how long it took the
Yes.
process and what you expect for updating it, like
Gosh.
approximately.
I want to say I started at the end of summer, maybe. And as Anne said, it was a lot of back and forth with DOLA, first starting with looking at other plans like City of Evans. And then I think the longest part took the organizing and kind of figuring out which strategies go with which goal for which principle. But we are hoping to have this wrapped up, I think, by April, and then submit it off to DOLA. So, yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
That's
Yeah,
a great
Thank
job.
you.
Yes.
It was a great opportunity.
And you got to work with a stellar team
Yeah.
right out of school. So, you know, that's.
Yes. Everyone's been so helpful and supportive, too. It's been great.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, one question. So you said you worked with Evans, their kind of program. Was there a reason? Do they have similar type activities and geography and stuff like that? Not geography, but populations and stuff like that?
Yeah, so I didn't work with them, but I did look at their comprehensive plan, and they have a really good water conservation section that's already in their plan. So it was nice to go off of that to see what I was kind of working with.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And I think the state suggested that you look at theirs.
Yeah.
Do you remember if the population projections were conservative or middle of the road? I saw that they were quite
For
significant.
Berthoud,
Yeah,
I have them
A
here.
little astonishing to me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I guess I'm just
that's
curious
pretty
if that
big growth.
where that kind of falls in the distribution of possibilities.
and 15 years.
Yeah.
Boy, that's,
I have that by 2040, the town will increase to approximately 27,285 people.
Right. Yeah. And is that like an average estimate?
I don't know
Not sure.
entirely. As of 2025, we're at 14,988 people. So
Yankees.
Certainly seems like now is the opportunity to plan for that change.
Yes,
definitely.
Yes.
almost doubling, you know, that's
Right.
amazing.
I got one for you too.
Yeah.
And this might be out of the scope of the conservation efforts, but like, what about like as development happens and the flow rate into the river increases? Is there like any guidelines for like restoration projects to maintain the banks and like make sure that the flow rate is like sufficient and not going to be like tearing down the sediments and increasing the habitat life and all of that?
That is a really good question that I will have to look for the answer for that. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah. No worries.
And actually, Lakin is helping work on the Little Thompson River Corridor Master Plan that we received a grant from Colorado Water Conservation Board to create a master plan for looking at water in that watershed and how best to protect land and water and keep land and water together, and some of the water recharge and how do we best utilize that water with farming operations and keeping water in farming. And then are there opportunities during wet years that the town can we lease water to the farming, and during other years can the town lease water from the farming operations, and the whole recharge, and where is the best place to recharge and get the water back into the river. So we're looking at a broader plan, and Lakin is helping manage those two grants that we received. We don't know all the details because we have other engineering firms and Colorado Open Lands that are helping manage the details. However, we're helping the administrative part of those grants.
Thanks for doing that too.
Yes, thank you.
One question for you. Are you enjoying your internship so far?
I am, yeah. I started back
You're on the
in
record.
June, and I'm still here. So I think they like me, and I like them too.
Very good.
It's wonderful.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments, commissioners?
No.
No, again, we really appreciate your hard work.
Thank you.
See, Berthoud is wonderful. I know you probably live in Denver, but we're a congenial little town.
I used to live up in Fort Collins, so I've
okay.
driven through Berthoud a couple of times before this. Yeah, but cute little town.
Again,
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
all right. So that moves us into talking about kind of like I like to think of it as the scorecard on the comprehensive plan, right? So to speak.
All right. So for those in the audience that are not familiar with our comprehensive plan, we have a quick update here. All right. So there's an action plan component in our comprehensive plan, and every good master plan has an action plan component, and this helps us take that vision that is developed by all of this public input. So 682 survey responses, 3 open houses, 244 site visits, and 599 participants, 3 public workshops, and a lot of open houses and public meetings were had. And how many? I know Commissioner Smith and Commissioner Anderson, were you part of that?
I
Mr.
was
Smith
barely a part of it.
You're
I
very
was
part
right at the end.
end. All right.
Yep.
So it started in 2018, 2019, and wrapped up in 2021. And the Berthoud Comprehensive Plan won a state planning award for innovation in thinking for the comprehensive plan. And it happened during COVID, so there were challenges with engagement, and a lot of people were involved, which is remarkable. And again, this can be found on the town's website. We reference this every time somebody comes and wants to talk about a future land use proposal. How does it relate to the comprehensive plan, the future land use map? This is vision. How the vision gets implemented is found in our land use code. So the comprehensive plan, again, is similar to a sports playbook. Updating comprehensive plan can take up to 18 months. Communities often perform a light update of the comprehensive plan every 5 years. We need to do a heavy scrub every 10 years. Berthoud's history, we have an update to the comprehensive plan in 2014. I believe we did one in 2007. So we did one in 2021. We kind of are doing it every 7 years. So I thought we'll start one maybe next year. So keeping in line with the 7 to 8 year. And it guides our vision for 20 years. So it's not a legally binding regulatory document. And when you think of the comprehensive plan, again, it's like a business model or a business plan. All right, so moving on to the next page here. So the purpose is to update, to identify and present the future needs and vision for the town and priorities. It's a guide to coordinate and accommodate growth. And the vision statement here provides the core values of the town. And section 3 of the comprehensive plan provides the vision statements with goals and strategies. And these, along with the objective statements on the slide, provide a guideline for future development. And number 7 is why we are here today. And it's to provide an accountability tool for evaluating progress towards implementing all of the goals that are outlined in our comprehensive plan.
Interrupt once.
Yes.
Bella, is there any chance the slides can come up on? I just can't. I can't
Oh.
see here and I can't see there.
Shoot.
I'm sorry.
are they not?
I'm an old person.
Oh, that's not good.
The town trustees had that issue last night as well,
I'm,
or Tuesday night.
I'm going to try my best.
Okay, thank you.
Now, the members of the audience out here, they
Yeah,
can
they
see
can
it.
see. And like this one between the light and the angle, I can, and that one's too far away. So I'm sorry.
I'm sorry that they're not showing up.
What's a space place? I've never noticed this phrase before.
In Space Place.
Is that how it is in the document?
It's a beautiful,
Tell me where
friendly,
you're saying
and
space place.
Under vision statement.
Yeah. Talking about,
Which bullet?
It's
no, it's
the
not a bullet. It's a
header under the vision statement. Beautiful, friendly, and space place.
Oh, that's probably a typo from the community development director. She can be a little fast
I
at
thought
the
maybe
typing.
we were gonna have some.
Oh, I bet it means safe place,
Oh,
friendly
safe
and
place.
safe
Safe
place.
place.
There you go.
Yes.
Space place
So
sounds
thanks
cool,
for
but-
calling
I
me
know,
out
I
on
liked
that
it
one.
too.
I kept thinking maybe she knows something about are we going to be
No, no.
NASA's
No,
coming.
No,
Space-
Space Force is coming. SpaceX is coming. No. So anyway, in your packets, you do have the great big, the report card that we put together. And the report card, it's not coming up in the slides. Again, it is in your packet. And let me quick type in my password. So the report card, we use this for work planning for the next year. We use this for budgeting, and it's not just the community development department or engineering or planning or building divisions. It's all divisions and departments across the town. So right now, for example, Stephanie Horvath, the town's, for us, for ease of discussions, she's our public information officer. She's utilizing this to do placemaking and branding for the town, and that's called out as something that was important in this plan. And while it's very important to the town, it wasn't something that we needed to do immediately. So she initiated this last year, and we have some input, and now we're going on and taking those next steps. Those next steps then for branding and placemaking will help us develop an overall sign plan. Then that will also help Tawn, and she is developing an arts master plan, and she'll give you a little bit of information on that later on. And so all of these are like a domino effect. And there are opportunities. And so in this report card that you have, and this will be presented to both the town trustees and to you all every year in January or February, just to let you know that our comprehensive plan isn't a document that we develop and it sits on a shelf. It's actionable and we actually use it. So there are takeaways or action items that overlap with the open space and trails plans. There are items that are completed, and just because they're completed, we're always evaluating them for opportunities for continuous improvement. And then there are other items that are in process right now, and then there are items that we haven't started yet because they're things that some other things have to take precedence, and then those things will follow afterwards. So, for example, expand wayfinding to direct drivers, cyclists, and pedestrians to key community destinations. Well, we can't do that until we have the wayfinding signage plan, and we can't develop the wayfinding signage plan until we really know what the branding is. So those things all follow in line. Complete a downtown parking study, and I believe Brian DuBois is going to be starting to work on that this year, and then maybe wrap that up next year. So lots of things are in process, and again, just wanted you to have this. If you take a look at it and you ever have any questions, just because it's being presented tonight doesn't mean you can't ask me about it in October or whenever. So that concludes the presentation on the comp plan report card. Do you have any questions? I know you can't see the slides that I presented. These slides, the slides that are up here, you've seen them with the housing diversity study. You've seen these slides before, so they're not new, although they're really nice to see. And I think Bella did it just so that, you wouldn't have to see my misspellings.
It was not intentional sabotage. And we did try to fix it, but even with Tawn and I combined, we can't figure out how to fix it without potentially breaking everything. So apologies, commissioners.
No problem at all.
Technology
No
can be
worries.
really, really.
Yeah, and I know that the town clerk had issues with this on Tuesday night as well, so we will make sure that we let him know that it was a continued issue tonight. Apologies.
I love how you do kind of the scorecard and you say this one's in progress, this one's ready for
Yeah.
this. I absolutely thought that was wonderful because you really got a feel for where we're moving on certain things and kind of that timeline you can kind of build as you read through it. I really appreciate that. I think it's a really good way to show progress.
Well, we want to be accountable. People, the taxpayers of Berthoud paid staff, and for our match, if we got a grant, I don't know if a grant was received for this, and if we received a grant, the state of Colorado taxpayers helped pay for that, and we were accountable to DOLA to help pay for that as well. So there's an accountability mechanism here, and again, why go through the amount of work that the Planning Commission and the town trustees and all of these citizens took time to help develop this, and why do that if we're not going to be accountable. So every master plan has to have a report card.
I really like how it's depicted.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah, and it is good to see kind of what the plan says and if we're achieving those goals or whatever you want to call them, markers, where we're short, where we're long. You know, it's kind of like a living document where at some point you're going to have to make some changes and tweaks, and I think that's good. I mean, that's what we do in life, right? So it should be no different with the town as we grow and expand and new opportunities arise.
Yeah, and next year, if we, again, I'm going to start looking for grant funding to start thinking about updating our comprehensive plan next year. However, this year, I'll start looking for that grant funding. And one of the things that we're not going to do it in-house. One of the things the consultant team that we'll hire will look for is what is still outstanding. And then they'll work with you all, the town trustees and the members of the community. Is this still important? And where is that on the priority list? Do we wrap it on over? Does the goal need to tweak? Does it stay the same? Do other things need to come before it? So good. All right.
For what it's worth, I did see a really good example of wayfinding signage recently in Lyons. So it was in the, like, I think it's Bon Park, BOHN.
Okay.
And it was kind of with respect to their, like, bike trails. And I know the, you know, the trails in Berthoud are expanding rapidly. So just if it's helpful, I'd like the
Thank you.
signs.
BOHN Park.
Sounds like a reason for a road trip.
Yeah,
It's a nice park.
isn't that?
Okay. Got it. I just sent myself an email. Thank you. Okay.
Is there any questions about what we saw on the scorecard or? Oh, that's great. Thank you, Ann. We really appreciate it. I really like the idea that, you know, you make sure we're informed about what's happening and what's being completed, what you're still holding on.
Okay, well, thank
Just
you.
impressed by the amount of progress the company
Yes,
is making in so
wonderful.
many areas.
Right.
That's the only thing I would note.
These
Yeah.
people don't let any grass grow under their feet.
No, it really is amazing to hear all the projects you guys work on and what you are plowing through. And it's good quality work. It's not just, you know, a process of checking something off and saying, okay, move on.
I always wonder if there's like fold out like Murphy beds in their offices so they can sleep or
Right.
something.
Well, and the nice thing, the town trustees and our town administrator and others on the leadership team, they take these things seriously. And our town administrator, he wants to see these things implemented. So when we have good leadership, then we get to implement good things.
Agree, the team is key, and obviously we have a wonderful team, so
Yeah.
thank you.
Yep. Okay.
Good job, team.
Yeah.
That brings us then to the kind of a scorecard of sorts on our action plan on the 2025 Housing Diversity Plan that we most of us worked on last year with certain members of the community and associations.
Okay, so I'm sorry, again, you're not going to be able to see much of this. However, it's a repeat for you. So in 2022, the state enacted the State Affordable Housing Fund. In 2023, they developed Proposition 123 for housing diversity, and Berthoud signed on in October of 23. And at that moment in time, we had to have 39 units at a certain level. And luckily, last fall, they gave us a new calculator because we only had 3 or 4 units. And now they gave us this new calculator, and it is based on the number of bedrooms, which is great. So if you have like a 6-bedroom house and it's a naturally occurring, so it's a new construction, the price is higher than if you have a studio apartment. So there's a lot of latitude with that delta there to move. So we luckily have over 100 homes now that have met. And so Berthoud has met that. And I'm really excited to tell you that in Vantage 7th, one of their paired homes sold for under $390,000.
Oh, wow.
Great.
So that's really exciting. Anyway, and then, so then we received, because we signed on to Proposition 123, we received a More Housing Now grant from DOLA, which we got to do a housing diversity plan. And at the very end of that process, then the state enacted more legislation and told communities, well, now you need to do housing needs assessment by the end of this time. And luckily, we were so close to being done. Our DOLA representative, Chris LeMay, said, oh, wait, Berthoud, if you do X, Y, and Z more, you could meet this. And so our great consultants at AIRS were able to squeeze in just the X, Y, and Z more. So now we have an official housing needs assessment. So we don't have to do that for another 5 years. And so that's been accepted. And then that we did that all in 2024. We did public engagement. We have an action plan that was in your packet as well. And then in quarter 1 and 2 of 2025, I think it was April 22nd of 25, that plan was accepted by you all as Planning Commission and the Steering Committee and by the town board. And then we also received a local planning grant, which we are now wrapping up. And that local planning grant helped us develop the fast track process, helped us they are trying to help us find funding to secure money to purchase water. Excuse me. And then we're wrapping all of that up in the next couple months. So for the quick wins, there were 5 things that we needed to do. And staff made a commitment to the town trustees that we would do this in a year. And we actually got it done in 7 months. And that was to develop an expedited development review process, which we did. And that also opens up a no-match $50,000 grant from the state, which we're in the process of developing what those parameters will look like. Reviewing options for land and water banking funding, which is we've done. Housing products and diversity review, which we did with the update to the land use code. Housing consortium review, which we have met with Habitat for Humanity. We met with some other developers, and we've come to a conclusion about what the best format will look like for Berthoud. And we expanded Ordinance 847. That is an ordinance that the town trustees waive building permit fees, and they can also offer a waiver of the TAP, of the water equivalency dedication fee for up to 2 homes a year. The town trustees now have said that they will do that for up to 10 a year at a cost of up to $500,000 to the town. So that $500,000 fee is what we are now trying to find financing for, so that the town in essence can then go, well, it's actually $250,000 is that water. So now the town, I'd like to try to find financing so that the town is made whole, because that $250,000 then every year, it takes away water from our portfolio. So all of those have been done. We're done by November, December. Then our long-term goals are actually securing money for land and water purchase, continuously improving and reviewing our development code to make sure that it is friendly for housing, and then continuing to form strategic partnerships. And I think we have that thanks to Karen and the involvement from Habitat for Humanity and staff. I think we've got a good structure. We don't want to have a formal housing authority in Berthoud. We're not developers. We don't have that capacity. Others have that expertise. However, we want to look at ways of sharing resources, sharing ideas with others that are doing housing. And then regarding the funding, what are creative ways, whether it be inclusionary zoning, whether it be a 0.5% on building permit fees. What is that funding going to look like? Because there isn't funding available through the state, through local foundations, through state foundations for water purchasing for affordable housing. So we've tried to look at other national philanthropies, and we just can't find it there either. So we're going to have to dig a little bit deeper and get creative. But that's in the final stages of development as well. So with that, that really is the end of that report card. All the quick wins are done. We have the long-term items that we need, those three things, the consortium, continuing to look at our code, and then forming strategic partnerships. Those are the three big ones, and I can't give you a deadline on when those will be done by, because they're kind of these long-term things. The consortium is going. We just need to keep it going and get all the right partners at the table. But other than that, that also completes that presentation. Excuse me.
What plan do you think we'll have ultimately? I know it's a kind of a big job doing the land and water banking and funding, appropriate funding and that kind of thing. Do you think, I know you have to look in your crystal ball to a certain extent, but do you think that's going to be a 2, 3, 5 year type of endeavor?
I don't know. I don't know. I hope that AIRS has developed a pilot program, or not a pilot program, but like a list of some things that they can do, and we just now have to refine that. And because we were hoping that there would be funding available from the state through some of the affordable housing initiatives, and it was discovered that it's just not going to happen. So we've had to pivot and look at things a little bit differently now. So how can we be creative, and what are other states doing? Other states don't have water issues like Colorado does. So what do we do? And do we pivot from that water, looking just for water, and do we start looking at, well, what does our water department do to get more grants for maybe upgrading systems? And then does that then offset the need for portfolio? How do we balance this? So it's not as a straightforward solution. Now it becomes a bigger balancing act with how do we manage that potential $250,000 dent in our budget every year just from our water portfolio budget. So that's just something that we need to figure out, and I think we're going to figure it out in the next couple months, and then we'll know more than what is our direction and how do we go forward.
No, thank you for that. And I see that as probably the toughest task of everything.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I think it's a laudable goal.
Yep.
Set of goals, actually.
Yeah. So I think, the Housing Consortium, I think we have a pretty good footing there. Reviewing the land use code and continuous improvement with regulations, I think we've got a good foot there. It's just the financing option. And so maybe we move from financing option for water, maybe we move to a financing option for land. How do we look at that? And do we then pivot? So again, there's a lot of pivoting that we're having to do, And we have to do that really quickly here in the next 1 to 2 months. So I'll have more information to bring back to you.
Questions or comments for Director Johnson? It's kind of nice to see that what we labored over most of 24 and part of 25 is kind of coming to
Kind of panning out.
yeah,
and
coming to fruition. And yeah, thank you again. Great job, team. A lot of hard work.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sleeping in your office on the Murphy bed sometimes.
Nope, don't have to do that.
All right, well, that brings us to the time of our agenda where Director Johnson normally gives us certain announcements and dates, and we'll give you a second to.
Well, Ton, do you want to? I'm going to put you on the spot. Do you want to talk about the art master plan?
Staff just recently completed what was called a public art data dump. So we have given pretty much everything we know of the existing public art that we have. So everything that we as staff, and that was everyone from planning to engineering and public works, came together, a rec team. Any and all knowledge we have on the public art here in town was essentially dropped into some folders, along with some GIS maps, and were provided to our consulting team. So they're going to start analyzing all that information and start getting some things together, and then we will be hosting them on Wednesday for a site visit. So they'll spend half the day here with us. We'll give them kind of a tour around town, and then potentially a drive out to some further locations. Pretty much just that, whatever they're requesting to see, and that will give them again just a more understanding of the town of Berthoud, and what we have currently for cultural assets and art assets. And then from there, the goal, I do believe, is in the next few weeks is to have at least 2 initial stakeholder engagement conversations, and so I'll be working with them to determine, and Ann and I and these 2 as well, determining who initially those stakeholders will be. One will be primarily internal, so staff and individuals that hold a lot more information than what we know of our public art, and then the other one will start looking at actual stakeholders beyond the walls of Town Hall. So we'll see. I mean, there's a lot of potential there. So we'll start there, and then I do believe that they're planning on, based upon that initial information, creating our first survey, which then, of course, we'll publicize and we'll let you know when that's out and about and how to participate. That is, yeah, so we're getting rolling. So it'll be a lot of fun. We're excited to have them here on Wednesday.
And that's happened really quickly because just on the 13th of January, Ton took that to the town trustees to accept the selection of the consultant. And so in less than a month, they're on it and going gangbusters. So anticipate a report card in January of next year too.
There you go. Well, that'll be interesting. I can't wait to start seeing it all, get it implemented. I was thinking, as we looked at the walls here, we have these kind of acoustical squares. Wouldn't it be neat if those were pieces of art from people in the area? I was looking at those earlier thinking, yeah, maybe some very calming pieces of art.
Especially during public hearing days.
Yes. Put up the really calm ones on public hearing days.
Okay, so on the 13th of January, so in addition to the art RFP, the trustees heard the report cards that you heard this evening. And then they also had a virtual tour of downtowns throughout the country and looked at building heights because the trustees received signatures of, I believe, over 1,000 individuals that indicated they wanted to keep Berthoud's heights to 2 stories. And so the town trustees, we took them on this virtual tour. We also did some simulations of a block in downtown Berthoud to look at redevelopment of a particular block to determine what it would look like if it were to be 3 stories. It was the southeast corner of 5th and Mountain. And that block was just selected because right now it's all 1 story. And so we thought that that would be a very impactful half block to take a look at. It's where Poke Bowl is and the Red Barn Liquor is. And after a lot of discussion, gosh, over 2 hours of discussion, I think, that night, the trustees determined that they were going to leave the heights the way they are. Then town trustees on the 10th of February, so just Tuesday, Bella presented tree strips. It wasn't as fun as yours. And it was well received. Luke Sieber, the development review engineer, is working with Fair and Peers, doing modeling and studies of the intersections in Berthoud. He's starting with a couple dozen intersections. Eventually the model will be every intersection he wants to plug in, so that when the modeling is done, when we get a development application and a traffic impact study, he'll be able to plug that information in and almost do like a checks and balances to make sure that the information being provided and the impact for the greater community can be evaluated as well. So he presented that. And then Ton, would you like to share what happened with Fickle Farms 5th preliminary plat?
Sure. So Fickle Farm 5th preliminary plat did go to hearing to town board just this Tuesday. We did have the same public comment. They did participate in the hearing. Same general comments and concerns. However, after lots of good conversation, the Planning Commission went with your recommendation of approval. So it was approved on Tuesday. So the applicant now can move into the final plat. Their application is being processed under the new code. They will have the decision to either process it administratively as a final plat, since that is new to our code, or if they want to pursue vesting, it will go then to the town board of trustees. So that's something we'll discuss. So it's likely that you guys won't see it, but we'll certainly update you once it's approved. Yeah, which I imagine will be close on the heels of this preliminary plat.
It'd be nice next January to include that kind of as one of the updates, how this new code for the,
Right.
you know, I'm curious how it's being embraced as time goes on, which path people choose.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
how it's working.
that would be an interesting, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a
Hopefully all
50-50
the
or-
effort you put forth pays off.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And then Bella, do you want to give an update on the historic preservation master plan?
Sure, absolutely. So the Historic Preservation Master Plan is in progress with our consultants that were selected, Chronicle Heritage. So Anne and I have been working closely with the Historic Preservation Advisory Committee and our consultants to move that plan forward. We had a great stakeholder group meeting here in this room on February 5th. We had participants from senior groups in town, from the museum, from the school district, from the library district as well, among many others, and they had really fantastic feedback for the consultant, so they will be incorporating that and bringing forth a new draft in early March that will go to HPAC on the 9th, and then that will be publicized as well on the website so the general public can give their input as well, and we'll be putting that on our town website and our social media, so that'll be kind of the last opportunity to review that and take in, as much public input as we can. and then that final draft will be coming forth for approval in April.
So Karen was invited and provided comments as the chairperson for the Planning Commission. It does talk about, preserving historic resources. The historic preservation section is in the land use code. However, there is a special committee that governs just that section. The draft is going to be coming to us on February 25th. And then we're going to send it out to everybody on Planning Commission, everybody on Historic Preservation Committee, a lot of people. And if you want to take a look at it, and it will also have a report card, and you can take a look at that and then provide any comments to Bella by the 11th of March. So you'll have 2 weeks to provide any comments. Karen has already, or Chair Anderson has already provided comments, which we will get to the consultant next
I really
week.
think it's very informative too. They really laid out that whole environment kind of with historic preservation at the beginning, which was really interesting to me. I didn't realize there were all these different groups involved, so that was very enlightening, fascinating to me. You guys did a great job.
And then we just let them know, you just don't list what the stuff is. You got to put it in a report card format. So that will be good at the end. And then let's see. The end of March, there's going to be an open space open house. And on the 30th, it will be here. And so you're more than welcome. You will get an invitation to that. So just a little teaser. And then on Planning Commission on the 26th, and I believe Commissioner Sigmund, you said that you will be out for that. There will be a land use hearing that evening. And our new attorneys, who are Catherine Sellers and Kendra Carberry, and there is another attorney, Michael, and I just cannot remember his last name. My apologies, Michael. They will be attending that evening, and we will have our first 1 hour open mic night with the attorneys. I have let them know some of the questions you have asked in the past few months, so they'll be able to address some of those questions. You can get caught up, Commissioner Sigmund. And then they will be back several times during the year to have those open mic nights. And then Tammy Tenoy with CIRSA will be coming again to do her annual work with us on June 11th. And the attorneys will be there for that as well. And then on March 12th, Lakin will be back to talk about for the full public hearing for water in the comprehensive plan, and Alex Tennant from the operations team will also be back, and then they will take that then to the town trustees in April.
Sorry, and I did find out that I will not be able to attend on the 26th either.
Okay, so we'll have 2 missing. Do we have anybody else that won't be here on the 26th?
Speak now or forever hold.
We know about Mark Hoffman.
I believe he'll be here.
Okay.
So even if he's not here, we'd have 4. So no one can be ill that evening, because we do have a land use hearing that night. So far, it's not controversial. It's an infill. That's all I really can say.
Yeah, lightning strikes.
Don't jinx it.
I was like, can't talk about it.
Yes. So how about this? We have received no public comment to date. And other than that, just a lot of great stuff happening. We are processing right now on $35 different land use applications. Some of those are combined as like one submittal. However, they might be doing 4 things. And again, it's been tradition to bring things to you that are very clean without a lot of conditions of approval or unsettled discussions.
Could I ask about 3 of those when you're done, just because I keep getting multiple questions from people and
Yes, when we've closed, definitely, we can talk about them, yes. Other than that, things are just moving along. Everything's good, life is good. Great team. Like,
For
it's all good.
Ann or the other, or member of the staff?
No.
Commissioners, do you have anything you'd like to report? So with that, then, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
Second.
second.
So Commissioner Semadalis makes the motion, and Commissioner Sigmund seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Great,
Thank
we're
you.
adjourned. Thank you, everyone.